Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Joey and I'm an author and a freelancer. And it is Wednesday afternoon. I had every intention of starting this vlog earlier, but you know what? If you haven't figured it out by now, this whole experience is basically me just trying to figure it out because I don't know. Yes, I'm trying to be a very good mom. I'm trying to be a very good business owner. I'm trying to keep the lights on and keep my family fed. And let's turn that light on. There we go. There we go. So you've joined me on my kitchen counter because, you guys, the toddler does not nap on the days that he has school, and he has school every day. And he loves school, and it's great. It's great for him, it's great for me, but he takes like this hybrid cat nap on the way home, and the second I stop my vehicle, he will wake up, and he will not allow me to transfer him. And with the way prices on gas are, I have zero interest in just driving around for 2 hours. I think I'm just gonna give myself the next 2 weeks to just plan. Like, I think the best and most effective use of my time right now is to essentially just create a game plan, because like I mentioned in the last vlog with Not So Much, where I would crave just direction when I would have these tiny pockets of time. I love planning. I love planning. Planning is so much fun to me. I enjoy it. I love every aspect of it, but it's very time consuming, and I don't often give myself the permission to do it. And because I don't give myself the permission to do it because I enjoy it, and it kind of, I don't know where I adopted the mindset, and I'm curious actually, like if I went to therapy, if I could figure that out, where I adopted the mindset that like planning is a waste of time. But it's literally the exact opposite of a waste of time, because not planning just has you spinning your wheels. And so I think I'm gonna give myself the next 2 weeks to just create a life plan. What are you doing? My son just laid down on the kitchen floor, spread his arms out, and then you heard him. I think saying it here is the first time I've actually acknowledged the fact that I think I just need to give myself the permission to take the time to really plan things out. I mean, everything from, I have systems and routines, but like they've been hodgepodge together. Some of them are still lingering from old seasons of life where they work just fine, but they probably could work better for the season of life we're currently in. So I think I'm giving myself that permission for the next 2 weeks. And so I'm gonna make the plan to make the plan. But what I was saying is like, I'm gonna like plan everything out. We're talking marketing strategy for the book. We're talking outline, which is done for this next project, but then really breaking things down like I did with Not So Much, with Yeah Maybe. And I'm actually curious why I haven't really continued along that. That worked really well for me. I had a like accountability partner and a plan. Baby, that's a whole bag of strawberries at this point. I think we're done with the strawberries. Does anybody else's kid just devour freeze-dried fruit? All of that to say, marketing, cleaning, groceries, meals, house, freelance clients, creative projects, book, writing, all of the things. We're gonna streamline like auto delivery of dog food. That's how granular we're gonna get here. And I've made myself a latte, and we're gonna tackle it. I almost just dropped this in the dog water. That would have been really, really bad. Okay, I'm literally creating a notebook in my Evernote, titling it Life Admin. And we're gonna break things down, but for right now, we're going to just brain dump all of the responsibilities, all of the things that need to happen, and then I will organize them where they need to go and kind of develop them into some type of routine and system based on that. But I think the first thing I need to do, because my brain is feeling, I don't feel overwhelmed. I just feel a little like aimless. And aimless isn't good because I have a lot of power. I got a lot of power packed behind me. But if that power is just sort of diffused into the nothingness, then I'm getting nowhere very fast. So I need to not be aimless, and this is my attempt to not be aimless. Okay, so I have just brain dumped everything, and nothing is revolutionary, but it's like simple things like our mail comes to like a, oh dear, hold on. Our older dog is so over our puppy's shit, and that's fair. For instance, our mail comes to like a mail house. We don't have a mailbox like at the end of our driveway, which is fine, except, are you okay? They hold our packages hostage. So they have lockers, but they don't really use them, or they're always full, or maybe a package is too big for it. So for instance, we've had a box of dog food at the mail house for a month that they're just holding hostage, because the other kicker is they don't keep regular hours at the mail center. It's just like, if you can potentially catch the mail carrier while they're there delivering the mail, and they could be there at 9 a.m., they could be there at noon, they could be there for 4 hours, they could be there for 4 minutes. There's never any knowing, like you just don't know. So I have to figure something out with that. And I think that's basically gonna be like, I'm gonna have to have mail delivered to somewhere other than my house, or like other than our neighborhood. So the breakdowns that I have book marketing, which oddly enough is the biggest list and probably my biggest chunk of responsibility. Ooh, you know what I don't have here is, what's up, buddy? I'll be back. The breakdowns that I have, book marketing, housekeeping, which includes things like a cleaning schedule, our bill pay schedule, like making sure that that's all like as automated can go, mail pickup and sorting schedule, a fridge routine. I'm sorry, does anybody else feel like their refrigerator is a bigger responsibility than anyone's acknowledging? Or is that just my house? Is that just me? We make a lot of our food at home. I buy a lot of ingredients, but I do meal planning. So like the ingredients that I'm buying, we're using, but then we have leftovers and we eat our leftovers for lunch or dinners or whatever. But I still feel like there's always some type of straggler? Words are hard. Some type of straggling Tupperware in my fridge that God only knows how long it's been in there for, and then nobody wants to actually open it and throw it away because it's just, for me, and maybe it's because like I hate cleaning out the fridge, and I feel like I don't keep a dirty house. And our fridge is not horrendous, but I just feel like our fridge routine needs to be a better, like I need to have a better grip on like what is the inventory of our fridge as far as like condiments and sauces and things that like you just always kind of want to have on hand. But then on top of that, like making sure that I have a designated day to clean out the fridge, which should be the night before trash pickup, right? That would make most sense. And that's what I used to do in the past, but I fell out of that habit. Are you okay? My toddler has started doing this thing. You brush it off? Good job. Brush, 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 you're good. Brush it off, you're good. Brush it off, you're good. Gosh, you're cute. Come on. Oh. My toddler started doing this thing. He got hurt over the weekend, and I made the mistake of fawning all over him when he like got hurt. And so now he's like pretending to get, like he just did it right now. He's pretending to get hurt where like, are you okay? Where he's walking and then he'll just like slip his legs out and fall. So I'll like, yes, baby. But this is a proper example of like what I'm talking about, where like you have to get pockets and you have to be able to be interrupted and pick back up where you left off, because I have zero control over my time. I will be back. We're gonna go do bubbles. Okay, and then on top of like, moving on from the fridge routine situation is like meal planning and grocery shopping routine, which I have pretty solidly down. I think I just need to be a little bit more consistent and like regimented with it. Animals, we have like cleaning the cat box. I need to get on like a litter subscription service or something, because this is not only specific to animal stuff, but does anyone feel like they're having a hard time getting their hands on things that like used to be just kind of everyday staple items? Like, I don't remember ever having to like source out places that were gonna have my cat litter in stock. Does that make sense? Down to like everyday basic like tortillas and things like that. My son has just locked himself in his room. Hold on. Oh, hi, bud. But yeah, like I'm having a hard time having like, I'll place a grocery pickup order or a Target order or a Walmart order, and like more often than not, things that I would ordinarily have no trouble getting, I'm having a hard time getting. And that could very well be just like the internet shopper not fulfilling it, but I have a toddler in the car, so I'm not often going into the store. But yeah, so like with the animal stuff, cat box, litter, I need to figure out a new source for our dog food, because I was using Chewy, that wasn't working. I used Amazon, and you've heard the story about the mail house holding our dog food hostage. And so, which is so bizarre, because our puppy's food is the same brand, and that gets delivered to our house, but our older dog's food does not. And as if on cue, I also have it written down to like get into some type of routine or habit for, so we sent Oaken away for training for, it was about 6 weeks. He was completely unruly when we got him, and we should be keeping up with that as far as like practicing every day, like outside of like normal discipline. Like we need to be able to like practice his commands with him. And as I am the one that is home, that has fallen on me, but I'm also trying to work and keep our toddler alive. So it's just a lot. So that, and like his exercise, which I could partner with my exercise, but by the time I have a second to go exercising, I want to be left alone. I don't want to take the annoying dog with me. I want to go by myself. We have Wade stuff, which I won't get into. That's standard like kid things. And then writing, and that's, I need to like finalize settings and like the timeline of the novel and what my writing goals and schedule should be or could be. So yeah, I mean like that's a lot. And I don't even feel like that's everything, but I do feel like that's a lot. And so I think what I'll do is kind of tackle the easier bits first, like housekeeping and animals. Like I can get those things kind of mapped out into some type of routine pretty simply, because those exist in some capacity already. So it would just be modifying them. Wade stuff is a lot of like one-off stuff, so I could really just kind of schedule those things into my calendar and just kind of like give myself like a, hey, this needs to be done by this date. Writing, just standard project management. I do have my freelancing stuff on here too, but that's pretty well and truly mapped out for me, because that, like the nature of my client work is based on deadlines anyway. So like it's not often that I have a project that I'm working on with a client where I'm like, I just feel aimless, I'm just floating around. No, because I like from the moment we sign contracts, like we know what we're working on and what the deadline is for that. So that I don't have any problem with. And then the biggest beast is the book marketing. And this isn't that video, but I am probably going to do a video coming up where it's like the mistakes I've made as an indie author and like things I will be doing differently moving forward, like lessons learned. So those are the things that need to be mapped out into some type of schedule. It does not seem like I'm gonna have the time to do that right now, because I feel like I need to get this dog and this toddler doing something productive because they're both spiraling a little bit. So I think maybe it's a good time to go for a walk. It's actually so nice out. It's 67 degrees outside. Fall is here, it is coming. And if you live in North Carolina, I know this is fall's fall. I know it's fall's fall. We'll probably still have a couple 90-degree days. And it's not uncommon for like Thanksgiving or Christmas to be hot. As much as I would love to live in like a cooler climate. 67, I'll take it. Let's do something with this toddler. It's the next day. It's the next day. If it wasn't any indication from the chaos that I'm sure you all could see / hear in the background of the last clip you just watched, the day went totally sideways yesterday. In fact, I texted my husband at like 6 something SOS. And then when he got home, I felt like I needed to stare at a blank wall for about 20 minutes just to kind of like get back to like base level. It was a lot of yelling, not me, like my child has learned to scream, and some of it's not even angry, he's just screaming. But I get overstimulated very easily, and which is slightly unfortunate too because my work requires a lot of focus and my attention. But by some type of miracle, we are going to thank the heavens above. By some type of miracle, my son, who is extremely cranky when he's tired, who does not sleep very well after preschool because we live very far away from his preschool, so he takes that like really annoying cat nap in the car. Just let me transfer him down. I don't know how long this will last. He really needs a good nap, so I'm hoping it'll last a while. But we are gonna carry on with what I started yesterday. I did do a little bit when I got in bed last night, and I actually made some serious progress on the book planning. I do still have quite a bit left to do, so that initial goal of like having everything ready to go by the 26th was just, it was a pipe dream. I need to readjust my ambition to the reality of not being in control of like dedicated time during the day, which is okay. Like, I'm not angry about it. That's something I'm just going to have to learn to, I basically have to get practiced in understanding what is realistic and what isn't. And I've never done this before. I've never been a parent and tried to do my own thing before. But I did do a little bit last night. Like I said, I got quite a bit done on the book planning. I do really want to like flesh out the settings. It helps for me to be able to like envision it in my mind when I'm writing them. I want to leave like the outline. I know what everything is gonna like, what the big beats are, but I want to leave a lot of that up to the in real time writing, because I do really enjoy the fact that like, I kind of feel like sometimes my characters tell me the story, which I realize again might make me sound a bit crazy, but that's just the way it works for me. And I feel like that's what makes it feel most authentic, is when the story is coming from them and not necessarily from me. So I have all of those beats mapped out, but getting into like the part that we were discussing yesterday, which, let me pull that note up. So for writing, I had on my list character development, settings, timeline, and writing goals and schedules. So I still want to flesh out the settings, and I still have a little bit of character development to do, but I've mapped out the timeline. I feel good about that. And I have gone out on a limb and made my writing goal and created the schedule for that. So I've decided, even though November is National Novel Writing Month, that's not realistic for me because I have family that comes in and out of town for the holidays, and I host holidays at my house. I do Friendsgiving. There's just a lot of like family time during November, and so squirreling away to write is not something I want to make much of a priority. In fact, doing it during October is a little bit dicey too, because October is a big month for us because it's still football season and it's my son's birthday. It's Halloween. There's a lot kind of going on in that month too, but I have decided that I'm going to you know what, we're going to change our language about that. I've decided I'm going to write the first draft of this next book during the month of October. My goal is 50,000 words, just like you would during NaNoWriMo, and really I'm looking more at like a weekly goal than I am a daily goal, because I know the realistic nature of how my life will go. So the goal is 11,700 words a week. So that's that. I did start the Roomba this morning. These are big things happening in my world. We've had a Roomba for years. It sounds like it's dying. He does sound like he needs to go stay in a hospital. He's not doing well, but he's still does the job-ish. He does a better job than not doing the job. And if you don't know, we have a golden retriever and a Maine Coon cat. So my house is literally always covered in some type of pet hair. And I don't often run the Roomba because it's cumbersome and there's toddler toys and there's things on the floor, and I've been traumatized in the past. We had a poopocalypse situation back in Charlotte. So the using of the Roomba has been minimal over the last several years, but I've decided that if I start it as I'm walking out the door to take my son to preschool, the rooms that are available are as puppy proofed as possible, because Oaken he's a goat. He will literally eat anything. He's eaten part of my dish towels. He eats clothes. I've found socks in the backyard when I'm picking up poop. So like, this dog will literally eat anything. So I already have to puppy proof, which essentially then Roomba proofs the house. And so I let the Roomba run this morning. So that was part of like the housekeeping, is if I can at least run the Roomba once a day, the main part of the house will at least have like a daily sweep, which is something I don't then have to do, which is awesome. I did also realize last night, as I should have pulled my camera out, but I didn't. When it comes to meal planning and like the grocery shopping, I've simplified that a lot over the last several years because I don't physically go into a grocery store anymore. I do grocery pickup. So whether that's through the actual native store, meaning like Target or Walmart, where they have that feature built right into their store, or I use Instant Cart. But I realized last night, because I think I was saying to you guys that if I could kind of have like standard weekly rotations where I'm able to plan out the whole month at a time, but with variation in the weeks, that would be really helpful to me. And so I started to think through like, okay, what would a week look like and what would the groceries be like for that week of meals? Well, I discovered a feature in Instacart, because I was trying to see like, could I just schedule my groceries like in advance? Like, can I basically place an order but not have it ready? Which I can, but then I have to pay for it at the time. So that is fine, but not ideal. So I did happen to find that there's a feature in Instacart, let me see if I can pull it up, where you can create lists. So basically what I could do is create, you know, my meal plans by week, and each week I do grocery shopping. And obviously there's going to be some flex where like things might have to be added or taken away based on what I have in inventory and like our other basic needs. But you can create lists for different stores here. So like, let me see if I can show this to you. So in Instacart, you can create a new list, and then I would basically say like week 1, right? And then I would probably list out the meals that I would have in that week, just so I don't get confused. And then you basically just create a grocery list. And then you could just add that list to your cart when it's the appropriate week for your groceries. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about how can I simplify my life? How can I simplify things? How can I automate certain things so that everything isn't such a Herculean effort? Because the business of running a family is big, and I feel like that gets overlooked quite a bit. We talk about stay-at-home parents, we talk about, you know, being a housewife, we talk about being a stay-at-home mom, whatever. But like the actual business of keeping a family operating is a full-time job. And then you throw on childcare on top of that. Then you throw on trying to actually have a job on top of that. And it's a lot. It's a lot. So if we can come up with systems to try to help us balance all the things, because guess what, friends? We were never meant to do as much as we're doing. We're doing more than ever before. And it's no wonder so many of us are feeling exhausted and like failures and burnt out and just feeling a little bit like we're drowning and not doing a very good job. I said this yesterday that like I have so many things on my plate and things that I enjoy doing a lot, but I haven't even really been able to fully enjoy them because there's so many of them on my plate that I feel like I'm just surviving and I'm not doing any of them very well. And that, as somebody who's like a type 1 Enneagram, then spirals because I internalize it, and then it's not just that like I'm not doing it well, I'm not well. Like, I'm not well. I don't know how else to put that. So this is why I'm here. And this is why we ask the questions and we poke around and we do the things like doing a brain dump of all of our various responsibilities and trying to figure out, okay, here's something that we do every week or every day or whatever it is. Is there a way to make this simpler? Is there a way that we can make this better? If that's not the #1 Enneagram in me, I don't know what is. So that excites me to no end. And that is definitely a project that I'll be working on in the next, like, I would probably say in like over this weekend. I'm gonna see if I can't map all of that out. I'm gonna have to think about like if I remember correctly, let's check. I have a feeling that I made like a Trello or an Asana at some point listing out every meal that I've ever made. That way I could like meal plan using that. Aha! This is where it is. This is where it is. Awesome. Okay, so, and I actually even have them color categorized by if it's a toddler meal or an adult meal or one that could be both. So that's, sorry, that was a really unflattering angle. So that's friendly. So it looks like purple is both, orange is adult, green is just toddler. So let's see, cool. It looks like I have quite a bit. So I'm gonna like add more to this list, and then I'll basically create like a meal. So there's generally 4 weeks in a month. Week 3, and I'm not gonna make this complicated. I'm just gonna do like just dinners, number 1, but also like I'm just gonna have this be for like adult meals, because at this point too, weight is getting a lot easier to feed. Okay, that actually like really excites me. So I have a lot of meals already labeled out here and here. These are the toddler ones. And then, but I have so much more than this. Like I have far more meals than this. And then I will just add them to week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then I'm able to go into Instacart and then create the list based on what week of meals. I'm so sorry, but that excites my little heart so much. So that's a huge, I mean, it's a big project to take on, but like it's stuff I'm gonna have to be doing anyway. So if I take the time on Friday, when I would normally be planning out my meals, to just plan out everything for the month and take the extra time to create the grocery list for all variations, it's a lot of work on the front end, but it's gonna save me so much on the back end. It's gonna save me so much on the back end. That makes me really excited. That's 2 very big things ticked off the list as far as like making sure that I'm able to figure out a way to simplify that. Book marketing stuff, I have had a bit of a like revelation with the TikTok stuff, or like really not even TikTok, just like my online presence in general. I am very discouraged by like when I start to do all of the research on marketing when done in a certain way feels very skeevy to me. It doesn't feel very authentic, and I'm somebody who like, I just want it to be as authentic as possible, and implementing strategy feels skeevy to me. And I don't really know why that is. It's just, I think about the people that I've supported. I think about the books that I've bought. I think about all of those things. This dog. And like, I wear a ring that I bought from a YouTuber that I like because I like her. I like the ring too, but I knew about it because I liked her. I've bought every one of her books because I like her. I don't even know that I care what the books are about. I just wanted to support her. I feel like that's gotta be more the vibe that I'm going for. Like, I hope if somebody wants to hang around and hang out with me and support the work that I'm doing, awesome. If they don't, I don't want to like trick someone into buying something. And I know that's not what marketing is, but like, it just feels that way. So I have some things to work out with what all the marketing stuff is going to look like. But as far as my Instagram, TikTok, and like this space is concerned, I'm just going to show up as Joey. And we'll let the rest of the stuff be like somewhere else, because in these places, I just want to show up as myself, if that's okay with you guys. So I feel really good about that. I will probably update in my next vlog if like on the whole Instacart lists, items thingamajig. I will also probably create the list somewhere on my end too, just in case something ever happens with Instacart or whatever, just so I have my own version of it. That makes me really happy. I realize this is a very different vlog for me, but hopefully it has motivated you to try to get a grip on your life. Hopefully it has at least given you some idea of like, if you're feeling super overwhelmed right now, just make a brain dump list of everything in your mind, like all of the arenas in which you hold some type of responsibility. Get super granular with it. If it's even as simple as like, what did I have on here that was like super granular? Like Oaken exercise, litter subscription. We're talking like, you know, getting as nitty gritty with things as like, what did I say? The fridge routine. Just write everything down and don't like, just get it out. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to figure it all out. Just get it all out, number one. And once you're able to see it and it's not like taking up the mental space, you're able to kind of noodle on it in a different way where like it never would have occurred to me to seek out to see if there was a way to simplify meal planning and like the grocery list, because that felt so huge just floating around in my head. But seeing it on a list, it kept me front of mind when I was like, oh, you know what? I wonder if there's a version in, like, if there's something in Instacart that would help me do that. So like just get it down on paper and then like almost like remind yourself, which that will like remind you to kind of look at things. I don't know, this sounds silly, but you know what I'm saying, that like just get it out and give yourself the space and time that it's going to take to figure out a solution to these things. And then also just be aware that like it doesn't have to be forever either, and you're allowed to test and change and try something out. Like if you're commit-phobic like I am, like you're allowed to just try something and see if it works, and if it does, cool. If it needs refinement, awesome. If it doesn't work at all, okay, try something else. I hope that helps you. I feel better. I don't feel great yet, but I feel better, and that's the important. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you again very, very soon. Bye.